$95 million. Shouldn't that buy you a good closer? Well, with Josh Hader, not quite. And Ronel Blanco, an all-star, not an all-star. We'll talk about it on Locked On Astros.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. You can find the show at Locked On Astros. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find Brett at H-Town Wheelhouse. We are the only daily Astros podcast out there. We appreciate every one of you that have become an everydayer, somebody that supports the podcast. And go ahead, hit that little red subscribe button down there. Give us a big fat thumbs up and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And today's episode of Locked On Astros is brought to you by TaxNet USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and go get help from a team of licensed tax professionals. Just call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon today. And guys, speaking of today, we all know that Beryl is approaching, whether it's a tropical storm, a hurricane. We still don't know what exactly is happening. I know I'm in the Webster area. I know a lot of our listeners are in the Corpus Christi, and I don't know if this is a legit picture, but I just saw Michael Schwab put a picture of a shark swimming on the freeway next to a car. So I don't know if how bad it is down in there, but we know that the storm surge is coming. There's going to be a lot of rain. So just stay safe. And thank you for listening to us. If this is a reason to stay home, listen to the Locked On Astros podcast. And there's no Astros game tomorrow. So we'll see what's going to happen. But I don't think, hopefully this is not a bad for the Houston area. We do know that there's going to be, it is going to come this direction, maybe not as a hurricane, but as it starts to break apart a little bit, it's going to be coming this way. So all I can say is stay safe. If you can't see where you're going, don't drive that way. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't go anywhere. If you lose your power, prayers to you. I wanted to do this podcast early, just in case I lose my power a little bit later tonight. So let's go ahead and get to this weekend. The Astros had they lost a tiebreaker to the Twins because the Twins already won the series earlier in the year. And so this was a chance to kind of gain some ground against the Twins. And the Astros took advantage of game one. It was an ugly game. Josh Hader gave up that grand slam to Carlos Correa to make it 13-12. And it was one of those games where you had Jose Altuve get hit and had to leave the game, but he was back in today's game. So that's the good thing. But there was just a lot of scary things that happened. And so this series had a whole bunch of weird things that happened. But so it just was a situation of the Astros playing a good team. The Twins are a good team. There's a reason why they're leading AL Central right now. And at this point, they are a better team than the Astros. It seemed like their pitching was just a little bit better, except in game one. In today's game, they outpitched the Astros throughout the whole game. In game two, they definitely outpitched the Astros. Hunter Brown, to his credit, he gave up 7 runs early and then stayed into the game. But that was one of Hunter Brown's worst start. I'm sure Brett talked about this in last night's podcast. But what Hunter Brown did was very big for Houston Astros, especially after a bullpen game. He went deep into that game, threw the most pitches in his career. He also reached 300 strikeouts. So there's a lot of stuff that Hunter Brown did. And so Hunter Brown, even despite the bad start, most pitchers might have come out, but it just wasn't a great situation there. But he stayed in. He took his lumps. His ERA took a big hit there, but he didn't care. You have to kind of just put your ego to the side and just be like, look, I don't care. At this point, I'm just going to try to keep the guys in. The Astros tried to make a mini comeback, but at the end of the game, it was 9-3. Today's game was a little different situation. It was tied, and then the Astros had some chances throughout the game, but you had Spencer Arrighetti. We'll talk about Arrighetti a little bit later, but Josh Hader, he came in, and this is the guy that you signed for 5 years, $95 million, and I was excited about it. I know we were all excited about it, but the biggest issue how would he adjust to this whole situation of being back? Not it wasn't necessarily his home because he came from the Orioles. The Astros traded for him. I believe he was in the Bud Norris trade, if I remember correctly. But then he came and played with Corpus Christi, and then the Astros ended up trading him as part of the let's just call it the Carlos Gomez trade, and instead of the other guy that was involved. But definitely was a arm that the Astros could use. But for some reason, his stuff is just not the same. Is it because he's comfortable now? We've heard that he's not so worried about pitching back-to-back games now. He's not worried now that he's got the money. He's not worried about that type stuff. And so it's a situation where he is worried. He's not worried about the money side. And maybe was he pitching for the money, or I don't know. There's just something that's not the same. He's given up 8 home runs this year. So that is a 1.85 homers allowed per 9 innings this year. That was up from 0.48 of last year. And he said, I'm sure if you look at it, last year I was able to execute at the top of the zone a lot more often. He's not able to do that for some whatever reason. And Hader said, you don't want to lose a game. In that situation, you want to at least take it to an opportunity where you can get our bats to the plate and be able to score some runs. But it's part of the game. Obviously, I want to go up there and put zeros up every time, but it just didn't happen. And unfortunately, it was Christian Vasquez who was the guy. A guy that was, I was looking at his batting average starts to see the series. He was batting 170 with like 3 home runs. I'm like, oh, I think the Astros made the right decision there, letting this guy go and keeping Martin Maldonado and whoever else as catcher. But this guy, he did what he did before he joined the Astros. He's an Astros killer. He hits those big, clutch home runs against the Astros. And that's what he did in this situation. And, Joe Spada said, this is the big leagues, and you have to give the guys credit and for getting to their pitches. They put up some big swings, and it happens. I don't take anything away from their hitters, from any hitter in the big leagues. And so the Joe Spada said 6-4 road trip. At this point of the season, he'll take it. And that's a pretty good road trip, and the boys are grinding. We hear Dana Brown talking about the word grinding, and then now we're hearing Joe Spada talking about the word grinding. They're playing really hard. We're looking forward to our day off tomorrow. So we saw Hader not only give up the winning home run in this game, but we saw Hader give up the grand slam in the game on Friday. So this is a situation where he's giving up way too many home runs in these situations, and it's getting frustrating because the no-name guys in the bullpen are getting the job done, but it's the big guys like the Ryan Presleys and the Josh Hader of the world that are not getting the job done. And that's what's the most frustrating thing. I know Presley did okay today. He gave up a hit and a walk, but he didn't give up any run. Abreu came in and got the job done. And then Brian King came in. So you had 3 scoreless innings after Arrighetti, but it's like, you got to get the job done. You're not going to get anywhere in the freaking playoffs if you don't have a closer that can close games or at least keep the game tied in the 9th inning. And so, yeah, it's frustrating. And thank you to everybody that's wishing Brett and I some safety. I know Brett's going to a different location right now. That's why he's not doing the podcast. I'm going to go ahead and stick it out here. But like I said, prayers to anybody that's going to be in the affected area. We're going to be getting most of the dirty side over here. But guys, thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out. Hey guys, have you downloaded the PrizePick app? It's really easy. You can pick Pete Alonso. Is he going to have a 6.5 or over hitting score tonight? What about Francisco Lindor? Is he going to have a 8.0 hitting score? What about Spencer Arrighetti? He pitched 5 innings today. Does he always do that? So this is just some of the different options you can have in PrizePicks. So it's the number one daily sports app out there with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's you against the numbers. So just go ahead and get the app, and it's exciting. You can turn $10 into $1,000. And it's just players like you, me, and Brett are doing it. So download the PrizePick app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That code is LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. Guys, here on the Locked On Astros podcast, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news right when you need it, whether it's the off season, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs, which we hope the Astros get to. You know what else is year round? Collection season. We're talking about tax collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at TaxNet USA go to bat for you. We've all had these issues where I forgot to do this on my taxes. What do? Well, let TaxNet USA help you. With 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require taxes, tax planning, or whatever, just go to TaxNet USA. And make sure you go ahead and mention Locked On Astros at the checkout, and you'll receive $250 discount off of your services. Guys, we are back. Is Brett Chancey at Buc-ee's.
What's up, man?
Hey, so what's up, Brett? So what's the road looking like out there?
Oh, the road's fine. They just built a new Buc-ee's at Luling. They're tearing down the older one. They have the largest middle space I've ever seen of any Buc-ee's ever. This is huge. Like, this is the best Buc-ee's concept I've ever seen. I mean, dude, this is insane. Look at this. I mean, the barbecue sandwich, like, that's all barbecue behind me. And look at all this empty space.
Right.
We got the
That's the
fudge
biggest
over there.
thing with me about Buc-ee's is it feels so like I'm claustrophobic. So it feels like there's a lot of people in there.
Yeah, you would not feel claustrophobic here. This is a nice setup. Because when you pull up, it looks like a tornado hit the old one, but they're actually tearing it down. And
well, it actually burned
yeah.
down. That's what really happened. So,
Did it burn
they're
down?
going to tear it down, but they were going to a fire started, and so that's what happened.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
It was all
know
over
that. Okay,
Twitter. I'm surprised you didn't hear about that. But Brett,
I asked someone about it. What's up?
oh, okay.
go ahead.
I want your opinion. I was just about to get to Ronel Blanco. So for those of y'all that haven't heard, I know there's been a lot of stuff going on today. Definitely a lot of people are worried about what's going on in the Gulf. But what a lot of people are talking about is the fact that Kyle Tucker did make the All-Star team. And I see Orioles fan kind of whining about Anthony Santander not making team, and Kyle Tucker hasn't played since this date did. But the biggest snub I think a lot of Astros fans are worried about is Ronel Blanco. He did not make the All-Star team. And I know that as Astros fan, you cannot have every player in there. But this is this is the feel-good story of the season. You have a guy that was a no-name guy who came out of nowhere to pitch a no-hitter, and he had back-to-back games where he threw like almost a no-hitter, then a one-hitter, and he's basically the Astros' best pitcher, and he can't even make the freaking All-Star team. What's up, MLB?
Yeah, that's when you know that the All-Star game is rigged. It's a popularity contest. The coaching staffs pick it. Isn't it the Rangers head coach, Bochy, that picks the pitchers or one of the main guys?
No, it's actually that's old school, Brett. What's happening is I think that the players get to pick most of the players. Then you got got the front offices that get to pick some others. So this is what it is. You have Burns, Skubal, Hoke, Crochet, and Lugo were selected by the players ballot. Gilbert and Anderson were selected by the league, and they're the only representatives from their teams. And Cole Reagans was selected by MLB. So I don't know what the difference is between league and MLB.
So I'm not sure how clear I'm coming through, but I'll leave this short. But Blanco is probably a victim of the Astros having 3 players in already, and that's probably why he didn't get in. But the fact that every team has to be a representative is ridiculous. I think it's lame. But you know what? I just want to say this. The Rangers are one-hit wonders. Did you see how they're making almost every player available? Max Scherzer and them available for trade. The Rangers are done, y'all. The
They're
Rangers
top relievers, they're top starters.
They're done. They're done. They're done. The Rangers are selling off their team. They are done. They are in a hole financially, and that title cost them everything. And they sold their soul to the devil for it. And Arlington won't see another title for another 40, 50 years. Mark my words.
And I know I've seen a lot of people on X today saying, well, maybe he could get selected to the All-Star team. And I know Joe Espada secretly, he not secretly, but he's come out and said, well, we'll see what happens next few days. In my book, he is All-Star as well. But the problem with this, guys, is the fact that you can't have that because he's going to be starting on Tuesday. And because he's going to be starting on Tuesday, that means he's likely going to be starting on Sunday as well. And because he's starting on Sunday, he'll be unavailable for the All-Star game. So they're not going to add somebody that's not going to start in the All-Star game. So you always have players say, you know what? It's an honor that I've been selected, but you know what? I can't appear in an All-Star game. So thank you for everything, but I cannot do it. And that's normal occurrence, or maybe they just pitched that Sunday before. I think it happened to Justin Verlander one year, and the Astros were like, oh, that's fine. But it's a situation where they're not going to bring somebody that can't pitch because they want people that can pitch in this game. And if Ronel Blanco cannot pitch, then they definitely cannot do that in this situation. But I think Ronel Blanco, if you're looking at what he did, he was the strongest candidate, definitely. He ranked 4th in ERA with 2.53, 6th in WHIP with 1.01, and 1st in opponent's batting average with 1.74. The problem is he had missed 10 games because of the suspension, and so also that cost him 23. He's also short 23 innings because I think the Astros are maybe kind of limiting his innings. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. But Joe Espada said he's All-Star my book, and he threw a no-hitter on April 1st, and but whatever reason, he's 8-3. He's having a great season for a team that's been bad for most of the season. And it's just a situation where the Astros had already 3 All-Stars, and you got to you got to basically give the other team. So I think Logan Gilbert and Tyler Anderson, Tyler Anderson himself, he's having a great season. And by the way, there are rumors by John Morosi that the Astros could be interested in somebody like Tyler Anderson. He's having a great season. Last start, he had 7 or 8 innings and 8 strikeouts. He's looking pretty good for a very bad Angels team. So that would be a good addition. But the Astros will have to make some moves, but unfortunately, it just will not be Ronel Blanco's year this year. But it doesn't matter. If the Astros go back and win the World Series somehow, it would be awesome if it happens. But I don't think he's that worried about it. I don't think Joe Espada, he knows that he's an all-star, but I don't think he's all that concerned about it either. But in a second, we'll go ahead and talk about Kyle Tucker being added. And then Jake Bloss, he pitched this weekend. When will he be inserted in the rotation? And a little bit more about Spencer Arrighetti. Hey, Astros fans, we know that you love baseball. That's why you're watching the Locked On Astros podcast, right? You don't want it to ever stop, but we know that NBA playoffs is coming to a close pretty soon. We know that football season is a little bit around the corner, and the Astros can't decide if they want to win, lose, or just be somewhere in the middle. That's where we are right now. But you know what you can do in the meantime? Go and download the FanDuel app, and you can go ahead and make bets whenever you want to, and all you have to do is dream up whatever bets you want and whenever you're in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a daily bonus. Daily, that's right. There's something for everyone, whether you're just trying to make a little extra money or just pass a little free time. So head over to FanDuel.com and stop making the most of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. We appreciate each one of you, each member of the Locked On Astros nation. Stay safe out there. No matter where you are, we're going to feel the effects of it all the way in to Conroe, up to Sugar Land, to Katy, wherever you are. Just stay safe, especially those of y'all down in Corpus Christi, Brownsville area. Wherever you are, just stay safe as Beryl is approaching. And I'm just going to hunker down in here. Me and my girlfriend are here. We're just hopefully got enough food and water to last us a couple of days. Just hopefully the water doesn't go out. I mean, not the water, but the power doesn't go out. But just stay safe. And guys, if you can't get enough Astros talk with Locked On Astros, go and check out the Locked On Astros postcast with Michael Connor. He does a great job, and you can watch both podcasts over on your Amazon Fire TV stick. All you have to do is just search for the free channels app, and you can go ahead and watch us live on your big screen TV, and you can see Brett and me, our handsome faces right in front of your faces. So that's a pretty cool feature there. So yes, the Astros could have this weekend could have gone worse. The Mariners did lose some games, so that is a big plus there. The Astros still remain 2 games ahead of the Mariners at this point. The Mariners did lose this game as well. The Rangers are winning a little bit. I don't know. I didn't check today's game, but I know they won Saturday's game. But the Rangers are deciding whether they're going to be sellers. But at this point, unless there's a big turnaround, they're likely going to be sellers at this point. So it looks like it's going to be a matter of the Astros versus Mariners. So it's going to be the Astros really need upgrade. I know offense, you think offense, but they really need upgrade pitching. The bullpen, it's an issue. But I think with maybe not having too many starters exit games, I think that the bullpen can kind of fix itself. Josh Hader, he's got to figure things out. He's been a dominant reliever for so many years, but he figured it out for a big chunk of the season. And so it's just about him finding that groove again, how Stella got that groove back, how Hader got that groove back. he's got to figure it out. And there's only one person that could do that, and that's Josh Hader. I know the pitching coaches can work with him. I know Joe Espada can say, hey, kid, go out there and get the job done. But it's all between the ears at this point. And unfortunately, Christian Javier, who had 3 home runs before that at bat, he hit another home run. But unfortunately, it was that situation like that. But it was a pretty good matchup. Spencer Arrighetti, he rebounded after that terrible start. But this is what you get with a rookie pitcher. Today, 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. So you never know what Spencer Arrighetti you're going to get. And that's why you don't know how much longer you can count on him, because just like Framber Valdez, I know a lot of y'all are getting frustrated at him. And I heard a lot of people come at me on X on Friday when Framber Valdez gave up 3 runs in the first inning. No, was it Friday or Saturday? I think it was Saturday when Framber Valdez gave up 3 runs, and everybody's like, what was that? You said, Eric, about trading Framber Valdez? And I didn't see it till a little bit later, but I was just like, I stick by what I said. The Astros don't have anything better. Who's better than Framber Valdez? Even when he has bad starts, he's better than anything you got right now. Else, I mean, Sean Dubin, he is not a starter in the big leagues right now. He's a 1 inning, maybe 2 inning reliever, and unless you decide to stretch him out, he can figure out a way to get through the lineup more than 1 or 2 times. He's not going to be a long-term starter. But somebody who can be is Jake Bloss. This is a guy that showed some promise with the Astros. He did lose. He did have to leave the game a little early, but he pitched really good on Saturday, and he threw 4 innings. He looked really good. And I was hearing, I think it was Josh Bell or Jim Bell, or one of the Astros assistant GMs on the radio today. And he said that they're going to put Bloss into the rotation at some point. And it's not necessarily when Bloss is ready, but they have to do what I've been talking about on the podcast. You have Ronel Blanco, you have Hunter Brown, you have Spencer Arrighetti, you have a lot of people that have been, the Astros have had to rely on this year that have not pitched the amount of innings that they've pitched in their career. So they're going to have to find ways to kind of limit their innings. So they're what's probably going to happen is they may push some of these guys start back for every once in a while, try to get an extra day of rest for Ronel Blanco, because I believe the most he's ever pitched is about 150 innings or so. So he's on pace for about 200 innings the way he's pitching, or maybe 180 to 200 innings, something like that. So then Hunter Brown, he's been pitching pretty good, but maybe a little bit of fatigue factored into Saturday's game. So whenever Framber Valdez pitched, whenever he pitched, I don't know what game it was, but whatever game it was, y'all know what I'm talking about. But Bloss is maybe going to start in Thursday's series finale against the Marlins on 4-day rest, or he can go ahead and pitch a little bit later. It's just that matters of it depends on when he's going to pitch. But he looked good. The velocity was there, and 4 shutout innings. So the Astros are hoping to have him back, and they've been going on 4-man rotation since. And Altuve was back in the lineup. 2 thumbs up. Alvarez, unfortunately, 2 thumbs down. He was out of the lineup. And there's been a lot of hit by pitches in this series. And I know a lot of people have been calling for somebody for the Twins to get hit. And I know some people still are fans a little bit of Carlos Correa, but he was the guy that Spencer Arrighetti hit. Spencer Arrighetti said that it was not intentional. And if Carlos Correa thinks it was intentional, it wasn't intentional at all. But Carlos Correa left the game with a right finger contusion. He said he's fine. He may be coming back in tomorrow's game. But Spencer Arrighetti looked pretty good. And Arrighetti said, reality is the baseballs were kind of inconsistent today, and I didn't have great command either way. I know, Carlos, I think this it goes without saying that it's a 2-2 count. I'm not throwing at the guy on purpose, regardless of anything that happened in the series prior to that. If Carlos reads this, it was not on purpose. He knows that, I think. But there's a lot of times you had Alvarez get hit. You had Jose Miranda get hit in the hand. You had Jose Altuve get hit in the series. I'm not saying there's bad blood between these two teams, but if these two teams meet up in the playoffs somehow, this is going to be an interesting matchup, because this is a fun matchup. And if the Astros find some way to maybe upgrade at first base, even though John Singleton looks like he's doing pretty good, but the Astros need to upgrade somehow at the trade deadline, whether it's a starter, whether it's another reliever, or another something. But yeah, Salazar got hit in hand too, and he wasn't happy about that. I swore when he went into dugout, he said, "Let's go get them," or something. But the Astros didn't hit anybody in Saturday's game after that, after Salazar got hit. But unfortunately, sometimes, especially with velocity and the lack of command in today's game, you don't really know. So we don't really know what's going on. We do know that Kyle Tucker is a third-time All-Star. Will he play in a game? No. He's likely going to be replaced by somebody who can play, but it's still good to know that he's deserving. Espada said the 3 All-Stars are well-deserving. I'm proud of playing of the way that Tucker was playing and how he's worked to put himself as one of the best players in the league. We need to get him back in the lineup. And I know that I've heard the fact that Tucker was able to he's able to do some more stuff with Bell was saying that he's able to put some more pressure on that leg. He's able to swing. He's able to do some more baseball activities with that contusion. So it's sounding like he's doing a lot better. So maybe he'll return to action soon. But at the same time, I wouldn't expect Tucker back until after the All-Star break. Why rush him at this point? The Astros are playing some pretty good baseball, so I wouldn't rush it. But so far, 6-4 on the road trip. I guess that's a good thing. You're going to have Tuesday, Ronel Blanco. Wednesday, it'll be Framber Valdez. And then Thursday, Bloss, Dubin, who knows? But guys, please stay safe. I know this is in the podcast, but please stay safe out there. And hopefully tomorrow I'll have some power where I can do the Locked On Astros podcast. If not, Brett will do it, but stay safe. And just remember, we appreciate every one of you for being listeners, and go Astros, and hopefully they can get their way back into this. My name is Eric Huysman. Brett Chancey is not here, but he was in here earlier for those of y'all that are just now joining. But we are the Locked On Astros podcast, and for him and myself, go Astros. We'll see you tomorrow.